So guys, welcome to episode number 3. This week we cover, if we're going to uplight, how can we reduce our light spillover and reduce our impact on wildlife as much as possible. We aren't going to get it perfect because any uplighting is not really truly to a dark sky scheme, but we can improve if we absolutely must have uplighting. So this is the video to watch. Stay tuned. So here we have the 55 degree reflector, really fantastic lower coverage on the lower planting and the trunk, great shadowing. But if we come all the way up and look at the ceiling, and it's really useful to see it on the ceiling, as Peter Reed, thank you very much Peter Reed, mentioned, the ceiling was really useful to actually see how the light spread. So you can see it goes all the way over here. And the same thing over this way with, again, the backside of these lockers cutting off a little bit. It's a very, very wide spread on the 55 degree. So let's see what happens when we do the 20 degree. So this is the 20 degree optic as it was positioned at the 55 degree. And if we look at the light spillage up here, we can see it's much shorter. So before we were extending over to about here, and it was about 3 tiles out from the edge, and now we've really narrowed down our spillage area. So that's the first step you can make towards, if you're having to absolutely use upward lighting, how you can negate the effects slightly. It's not ideal, but it's better. Okay, so this is with the glare guard on now. And as you can see, what we've done is we've reduced that light just a bit more. So you can kind of see, can you see that the circle is oval? So we've got right and left, but our towards us on the camera has been reduced slightly. So we're just bringing that beam just down a bit more, bringing it a bit more focused. Just bringing that in a bit neater, and we've kind of lost the position of where the light is. You can tell where the light is because of how bright the trunk is at the bottom here, but you can't actually see the light, which is ideal. That's what we really want to do with spike lighting, is we really want to make it disappear. So if I was installing lighting, this is where I'd position the light. So the light itself is 300 mm out from the stem of the trunk, and this particular feature is 2.6 meters tall. Now, as you can see by the light on the back wall, again, the only trouble with the uplighting is that we still get spillover. So perhaps if the foliage was thicker and larger, we'd lose some of the spillover, sure. Uplighting isn't ideal, but if you have to do uplighting, this is where you kind of really bring your spillover down. So we've got beautiful shadowing, we've really reduced the beam. As we come down, it's quite hard to tell where the actual light fitting is itself. We can see the trunk is really well evenly illuminated. That dark spot in the middle is actually not because the light's not hitting it, it's because the trunk is green there. But it just gives us just a great finish, great illumination. We can't actually see the light fitting, which is really what we want. We want to see just the feature. So our final step for reducing the glare and reducing the spillover for uplighting is full baffle. So this is using one of our baffled wall light tops. We've still got our 20 degree optic in there. We've reduced, so we've lost our shadow at the bottom, and we've really kind of narrowed down our trunk. Now what we could do is we could bring this fitting in closer, which I might do in a second. If we have a little look up, we've still got some good shadow further up, but look how narrow our beam is. It's not far off the width of the tree. So now we're really reducing our spillover. Now you can tell that, again, as I've said a few times, uplighting is not ideal. It is not truly to a dark sky scheme. But if you really have to uplight, this is the way that you really want to do it. So I'm really just discovering this for myself whilst doing this test, but I hadn't anticipated that if you do full baffle, you need to go tighter to the trunk. And normally I advocate coming out from the trunk more so that you can get a more even illumination. But in this case, because it is a full baffle, we've had to come really close into the trunk. We are 150 mil from the trunk. Now you see there's good illumination on the trunk, and the beam is really, really narrow. Much less spillover than what we had before. Now there is some disadvantages to doing it with a full baffle, in that a full baffle will collect water. So we can definitely design a full baffle that has a weep hole so that we can lose the water from the inside, but it's going to require really regular maintenance to stop the top of the fitting from getting dirty. So that's going to mean that you're going to have to get a cloth in there probably as much as once a month to maintain the lighting scheme. So it's less ideal from that perspective, and so you're more likely to use a glare guard. But I just wanted to show you what would happen if you did full baffle. Now you could do a glare guard, we could do a glare guard that is much more enclosed. That would be pretty simple for us to do, and we absolutely can do that. So this is a standard glare guard. And what we could do is we could bring this so that we've only got a really narrow slot on one side. However, the more we do this, the more likely again that we're going to need cleaning maintenance. So that's something just to consider. So there's one more thing that you can do to reduce your impact on the wildlife with regards to if you have to uplight, and that is that you can dim your lighting, and you can put in fixed dimmers in place, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a second. Essentially, you could leave your light level set to 60–70%, still achieving adequate illumination. You're also going to extend your light's lifespan for the LED itself. So it works really well in harmony together. Now the way you would do dimming in an outdoor installation typically is, rather than have dimmers at the switch position, you can actually place the dimmers as fixed dimming in boxes, and that will work really, really well. So you just put dimmers actually in boxes, and then you will set the dimming level, and every time you turn the lights on and off again, they'll come back to that dim level. So guys, I hope you gained some value from this video and learnt a few things about what you can do to reduce the impacts of the lighting when you're uplighting, if you absolutely have to uplight, when you're uplighting, how you can reduce spillover. I know I certainly learnt quite a lot from doing this process. If you've got any comments, put them in the comments box below and let me know about any features that you want me to include in future. Next week we're going to be doing down lighting, so we're going to be mounting some lights actually within the tree itself and lighting downwards, doing something a little bit different in terms of what you might normally do, and looking at the effects that we can produce with those kind of fittings. So I hope you have an amazing week. Please do like this video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and share it. Anyone that you think will get any value from doing any installation work where they can actually understand how they can reduce the impacts, and hopefully together we can move forward in a better direction and start reducing our impacts on the wildlife. Thanks very much. See you soon.